Well, hello everyone to another exciting episode here on MIgardener. Today we are still inside working with some plants here. We got ourselves an Amaryllis. Yes, this is my mom's Amaryllis, and I wanted to bring you all along for its transplant. It has been stressed out in this teeny tiny little pot for too long, and yes, my mom is a plant torturer. I got this for her for Christmas 2 years ago, and the people that sold the plant were the plant torturers. You should have seen this thing when it was first started. What it came in was this pot. That big old bulb, it came in, you get those from the store. This huge bulbs that are ready to flower the first year. Yeah, it came in that pot. Good joke. There was like 1 inch of soil on each side. We let it flower. It flowered beautifully. It was great. But then it flowered the second year, which we were surprised about. And we thought, well, holy cow, we typically don't have good luck with amaryllises. And this thing came back a third year. The only problem is it put off little baby bulbs on the side. So now it is completely trapped. It has nowhere to go. And so my doubt is there is no nutrients left. There's hardly any soil in there, so you'll see what I'm talking about. I'm interested to see what the roots even look like, but there's hardly any soil. I guarantee you there's no nutrients, and there's 3 bulbs taking up the whole, center of this pot here. So what we're going to do is we are going to, oh gosh, it's just a mess. We're going to cut back the top here. We're going to cut back the top so it's not so top heavy. It's not stressing out the bulb there. We're going to cut off these leaves right out there like you would an onion. And then what we're going to do is we're going to transplant it in this pot here. It's a lot bigger, a lot bigger. I mean, it's not huge, but it's probably 3 times the soil that's in this. So we're going to do that. We're going to give it a little fertilizer, and I'm going to be using this Dr. Earth's organic all-purpose blend. I've had it sitting here for a while, and I really want to use it. I want to try it out on a couple bulbs because apparently this stuff is amazing for bulbs. And I also have a liquid blend for bulbs as well somewhere in here that I purchased, and I thought it would be cool to try it on there as well. It's not that one. It's not that one. Yep, yes, it's this one. Okay, yeah, of course the last bottle I choose. Yeah, so I'm going to be using a liquid fertilizer to feed it with, and then I'm also going to give it a granular fertilizer to get it kicking again because it won't flower this year, but I want it to get a really good start so that next year it can flower well for her because it is beautiful. She does love it, and I thought it'd be nice for her. So let's get on with the show. All right, I need scissors. So this is the sad Amaryllis here. It's all drooping over. You can see the bow that we tried to tie it up with here. It had this very small stake, and it's just not working out. So what we're going to do is we're going to trim off these leaves here so it can stand up at least somewhat. And I'm sure it probably won't like that, but I'm sure it doesn't like bending all the foliage over at a 45-degree angle either. So we're going to cut all these back. And now, oh wow, there's a lot of water dripping out of those leaves. Okay, ooh. All right. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take this off here. That's useless there. Take out that. Okay. All right. So now what we're going to do is we're going to fill the pot up with some soil, and then we're going to check out this pot here and see just how root bound this baby is. I have a feeling, I mean, there's no dirt left in this hardly. So we'll check it out as soon as I fill up this pot with some soil. All right. So I just got done mixing up the soil. Hence why my hands are all dirty. All right, and now what we're gonna do is we are going to pull this thing out of its pot here and see how much soil's left in here. There's no hole at the bottom, so I can't, oh wow. Yeah. Hold on, how are we gonna get this out of here? All right, well, okay, well, yeah, it's pretty safe to say that is quite root bound. So, what do you think to that? There is no soil left in this poor thing. And a spider crawled out. Oh, joy. I don't like those either. I'm gonna, yeah, yuck. Gross spider. Okay. All right, so in conclusion, definitely a good idea to transplant them after a certain amount of time. That poor root got broke. I'm just gonna tickle some of these roots out and tickle some of these roots. Amaryllis says they do not like to be transplanted over the bulb. You want them to kind of be just sitting on the surface. So I'm not going to actually transplant this any deeper. I'm just going to keep it at its original height, but just give it more soil down here because it was just so root bound. And clearly that was definitely not good for the plants. So I'm gonna just get that soil in there. All right, so now what I'm gonna do is I'm just going to fill this up with some more soil and it should be all good. I'm gonna give it a little bit of fertilizer and then we're gonna water this baby in and it should be all good. So part of Amaryllis care is knowing what they are. Amaryllis is actually a bulb, so I'm gonna be using this 272 fertilizer, and bulbs like a high phosphorus fertilizer because phosphorus works with flower production and root production. So given the fact that this is also a flowering plant and it's a root plant as well as a bulb, you are going to definitely benefit from a high phosphorus fertilizer. And I'm going to be using this Dr. Earth's Golden Bloom fertilizer. It's an all-natural fertilizer. I'm going to mix it up with some water here. I got some water, just a tiny bit, because it is an organic fertilizer, so it is gentle, but it's also going to do the job very well. I always really liked this Dr. Earth stuff, so I'm going to be using this product for the first time. Just give it a little splash there. We are going to now just mix this up here. I probably put about 2 or 3 teaspoons in this bucket. And I already did wet the soil, so it's quite wet as it is. I'm just gonna mix this up here and we're just gonna pour it around the base. Give it a nice little boost here. All right. That is it. And we're gonna stick the stake back in here because when it flowers, we want to be able to attach it to this stake here, so that way the flower stalk doesn't break. So we actually will attach the flower stalk to this post here because if you've ever had an amaryllis bloom, you know that they're very top heavy when it blooms. So that's going to be very good. I think it's going to really enjoy that transplant there. And looks pretty cool. So, all right, there you go. All right, so I hope you enjoyed this episode on how to transplant your amaryllis. I think it turned out quite well. And yeah, I can't wait to see what this thing does now that it's been transplanted. And I will definitely keep you all updated when it blooms next year because it's done blooming well, it's not going to bloom this year. We missed that train. So I will let you all know when it does bloom next year. I'm excited to see it. It's always something to anticipate because it's so beautiful, and I would encourage you all to buy an amaryllis yourself. They're extremely cheap. I think the set that I got was, I think $9.99 for the pot, the soil, the fertilizer, and the bulb. So with all that said, it's a very good investment, and it does multiply. I have 4 in here now, and when they split off, I can separate them and I can divide them up how I want. Maybe even give one to you all. So hopefully you all enjoyed this episode. And as always, this is MIgardener reminding you to grow big or go home. And I'll catch you all later. See ya. Bye.